Hey, I'm Jess, and this is The 100th Monkey. The 100th Monkey is my podcast, and it was created with the intention of being an energetic container. Inside this container, it's my hope and my desire that we can all truly discover what it means to be the change you want to see in the world. It's relevant because I am immersed in emotional alchemy and have been for about the past 2.5 or 3 years. And what that means is taking every emotion that comes up and dissecting it and really examining number one, where it sits in my body, and number two, what it really means to me, what memories are attached to it, what belief systems are attached to it, and taking those things and examining them and really getting to the bottom of why I am and collectively we are the way that we are, right? So that presents itself in relevance to be the change you want to see in the world by the universe giving me ample opportunities every single day, every moment to choose the experience that I would like to have. You can choose to feel upset and sad and angry about something that doesn't quote unquote go your way. Or you can choose to embrace it as an opportunity to explore how this is really, in truth, going your way and how it always will, right? So, technically, I guess it's the M word, manifestation. Um, And while I'm a Reiki master and I am all about me some love and light, I'm more about cycles and how cycles present themselves in our lives, not only to guide us, but to teach us lessons and to really shape the experience that we have in our lives if we let them. The way I first got into cycles was astrology. About the same time I decided I wanted to be a Reiki master, like 4 years ago, I just dove in. I just started studying everything I could get my hands on. And once again, when I started doing that, that's when the universe chose to present me with opportunities to choose to see these things. So I started getting into Reiki and I started getting into astrology about the same time. So astrology was pretty simple, right? I was led to certain astrologers that resonated with me. I started becoming more aware of patterns and things that would present themselves in my daily life that I could relate to whatever was happening astrologically at the time. It's literally facts that once you repeat a behavior so many times, it becomes habit. I think it's like over 50. And yeah, so if you do it, it will become habit. Also, in relation to that, I believe it takes 11% of a population to change something within that population, right? Which I think is really amazing when you think about it. 11% is not a lot. But the larger the population is that you're trying to influence change upon, well, then that's going to be like where the daunting number of your 11% comes in. So if you're trying to change, your household, for example, if you're the only person in the household, done, easy. If you have a family, like 3 to 5 members in your household, then it's going to take some time, several years, several cycles, perhaps, to really start seeing that change and see that come about in your daily life. Um, Now, then if we're talking about like a school or a city, it exponentially grows and grows and grows. But be the change you want to see in the world. Be your own 11% and change your own world because I'm living proof it's possible. Um, yeah. If anyone that knew me 7 years ago, hi, by the way, she's Chad. If anyone that knew me 7 years ago was watching, they would be like, who is this? I was prescribed benzodiazepines at a very young age, 15, 16 years old, right? And so I was supposed to be a normal person. So I took them and continued taking them. And I had a normal life, like a beautiful, wonderful life. I was with the love of my life. I had his son. I went to EMT school. I became a paramedic. Um, yeah, eventually he died tragically, and he passed away, and I became a single mother. And that put even more of a stressor on me and was like, okay, yeah, I do need these Xanax. And you know what else? I need these Adderall too. Because I had to work and I had to maintain a whole household by myself. So it was normal. It was just like, okay, cool, here's these meds, right? Come back in a month and give us some money and we'll give you some more. And that went on for 17 years. 17 years. When my son started coming into his own and sort of started detaching from me, I was like, yeah, it's time. It's time. It's time for me just to stop doing this. And so I started to wean myself off of my Xanax because I was very aware that it could be super dangerous, life threatening. I'd ask my doctor, like, hey, I want to get off these. And he's like, well, you'd have to be put in the hospital for 3 months and probably intubated for about 2 weeks and sedated so that you don't have a seizure, right? Terrified, like terrified me to get off my meds. So I um I used cocaine for a little while. I'm not proud of it, but it is what it is. And I've had an absolute rock star existence. So I feel like it would be a disservice to myself if I like tried to lie about it or say like, oh yeah, because then I would be being the very thing that I'm going against, right? And not going against, but then I would be the very thing that I'm trying to liberate from our society so that it can be seen and be released. And that's the point of this container. I decided that it was time to liberate myself so that I could share this story with those who need to liberate themselves. How did I do it? How did I do it? Hallucinogenics. And I will be very forthcoming with that. Hallucinogenics were the answer for me. It wasn't admitting myself to a hospital and making myself the problem. I'm the problem, it's me. Like it was me. It was ritualistic. It was heart centered. It was divinely guided. I had no idea what I was doing. And all I knew was that I don't want to be on Xanax anymore. It had gotten to the point that my cues for my anxiety was no longer like feeling anxious. My cues for my anxiety were shortness of breath. Literal, I couldn't breathe. I took Xanax for so long I couldn't breathe without Xanax. And I was adamant that I wasn't going to a hospital. I wasn't going to be sedated and intubated and treated like treated like there was something wrong with me for wanting to be free of a medication that was created to make people complacent with not feeling okay about conforming to a system that was created to enslave them. So that's why I'm extra passionate about what I do, and the message that I have to share. So the way that works is when I'm struggling with something, it means that my collective, the people who resonate with me and who I can help in this journey, those people need an upgrade that I'm actively living out for them. So, we're going to talk about what's been going on this week with actually, so we're going to talk about what's been going on the past couple of weeks, the themes I've experienced, and what I've learned from them. Number one, boundaries. Such a big one. About 9 months ago, I set new standards for my life. I set new intentions and I decided that some things were going to change. And I actively took steps to do so. And I reached this plateau where I felt like, hey, yeah, right, this is cool. Yeah, we got this. This is awesome, right? Um, and then the Mercury Pre Shadow really started slapping, like about a week and a half ago. And what I found that to present as was people that would test boundaries that I thought were already locked in, right? Like, you're not going to be disrespectful. Like, this Mercury Pre Shadow, like, really be bringing up old shit. Really, really, really. Okay. Because I haven't experienced that in so long, and I had to just like check them and be like, really, seriously, like, no, you can't talk to me like that, right? And what that did, reaffirming that boundary, which was really the cornerstone of every change that I desired to enact, right? It all came from issues surrounding that particular boundary of personal respect, self worth, self love, self acceptance, self expression, right? Like all of that at the expense of other people, or me suppressing all of that at the expense of other people. And it was a challenge for me to really stand up in this situation, right? Because it wasn't something as simple as like feeling love for myself when something uncomfortable came up, or affirming my worth when I didn't feel so great about it, or really choosing to divinely express myself. It ex it it manifested as a challenge related to the core trauma that caused all this domino effect of these other issues to happen for me. So I almost didn't catch it, but thankfully I did. Because when I did recognize it as such, as me choosing a new pattern and breaking an old karmic cycle, then I was fast tracked to a new reality, right? And this is the reality that I have been forming the container for the past 9 months specifically. Um, Another thing that came up for me related to that was identity and really locking in the identity of who you truly are. And I'm not talking about like your identity like, hi, my name is Lucy and I work in an office and I like to party on the weekends and I have a French bulldog and a rescue dog and I like to go to no, like that's not your identity, sis. That's not it. That's not it. Your identity is the frequency that you identify with. It is your divine frequency. So I mean it's scientific. We have scientific proof that frequency creates matter. right? Are we or are we not matter? Always. We are matter, okay? And we matter. So we are all created from a frequency. We are a frequency. That is it. And when we don't align with our frequency, when we're not on the path to aligning with our true frequency, we feel dissonance, right? So, like, here's us. We're on our path. We may not be right there yet. We got to tweak a few things to get the flow right, but we're on that path. We're on that tone. That's our tone that we set. And that's another thing that has come up for me over the past week or so during this pre-show is the my tone of who I am and how I am here to serve the world and how that is expressed and how I can convey that to other people. But a good way to find that is to seek out the recognition of opportunities that resonate with you. And resonating is like one of the biggest clues that you'll use in your spiritual journey, right? Um, it's that feeling of knowing, or like, I know you, or I know this, or this feels good. Gotta be careful with that one though. Because, lots of things feel good. um, it really feels good in your heart center as opposed to your pleasure center, right? Um, yeah, so when you start resonating with people and situations and ideas, then you know that you are in the correct octave. You're in the right space to consume what you need to elevate yourself to the next space, the next octave, and find your frequency. Stepping into your frequency is one of the most mind blowingly pleasurable experiences you could ever have. I'm talking ecstatic meditation. I'm talking incredibly beautiful, exquisitely intense downloads. I'm talking like the Rolls Royce of spiritual progression, right? It's like riding in the back of a foreign dignitary's limo. You're being transported to your next level through your higher frequency. And that is what it feels like when the universe is giving you opportunities to choose and experience your frequency over and over and over again. But the key here is to remember that you are the creator of your own reality. And I know that can be hard to believe sometimes, because trust me, I yeah, where's my G Wagon then? Where is it? Where's that? No, yeah. It doesn't always look like that, okay? And sometimes you have to accept that maybe the universe is trying to get you to that G Wagon. Maybe it is. But here are the steps that you have to take first. Here are the choices you have to make first. Here are the lessons that you have to learn first in order to become the person that can maintain and hold and nurture and grow within the type of lifestyle that affords you a G-Wagon.